on April 9, 1976 in the Bronx, New York City. A woman named Wendy Savino would be the first victim of the Son of Sam. By him going up to her, smiling, acting all friendly, then out of nowhere he shoots her in the chest 7 times, having her lungs explode, but miraculously surviving it and being able to tell the police a description of who she saw. From the years of 1976 to 1977, New York City would go into a rage of panic from one of the most notorious serial killers, Son of Sam. When the Son of Sam was young, he was put up for adoption by his biological parents Joseph Kleinman and Betty Falco, because his father simply did not care for him. So he went up for adoption and was adopted by Nathan and Pearl Berkowitz. He was renamed David Berkowitz. When David was young, he witnessed lots and lots of violent things, ranging from his mother slapping his father and his father hitting someone in the head with a gun. When David got to the age of 5, he started to shower with his father and bathe with his mother, but his mother bathed him at the club in the presence of other naked women, and that's when he realized the power men have over women. Some years passed, and David had suffered tons of head injuries, and he also started to be teased in school for being chubby, and he starts to get thoughts that he was different, so he really never made any friends due to being antisocial. But then, he watched a girl get hit by a car and witnessed a boy fall from the side of a bus and die, all at the young age. By the age of 12, he starts to set fires and sees monsters. And later, he finds out his mother dies from cancer, and David gets furious with his father for not telling him that she had cancer. He was then moved to the Bronx and got involved in a lot of bad stuff like vandalism, breaking car windows, setting fires, and torturing animals. But he had a sudden change of heart and enlisted into the army and started to attend church, but he was kicked out of the army, and after that he started to set fires again. From what David had said, he set 1,411 fires. Then he got a job at JFK, and he starts to hear these voices from the dog that works with him. He starts to listen to these voices in his head, and this is when the attacks start. He attempted to kill 2 young women with a knife. The first victim was identified, and the second victim was Michelle Foreman. Both were lucky to survive, but seriously hurt. A couple weeks later at 1 a.m., he fired 5 shots into a parked car, killing Donna Lauria with a shot to the neck and Jody Valenti in the hip, but she survived. 3 months later at 2:30 a.m., he fired shots into another parked car, wounding Rosemary Keenan and Carl De Niro. Rosemary survived, and Carl went major head surgery, and survived. 1 month later, he shot Donna DeMasi and Joanne Lamino while pretending that he needed directions. Both survived, however, Joanna was paralyzed from the waist down. It got to the point where all of New York were terrified, had girls cutting their hair, dyeing it blonde, since he loves to go after young women with long brown hair. 2 months later, he shot John Deal and Christine Freeland. Christine died after being shot in the head at the hospital. John survived and ran for help. A few months later, he kills again, but a college student named Virginia Voskershia. She was killed instantly after being shot in the head. A month later, he killed Valentia Sarina and died instantly in Alexander Esab, where he died at the hospital. Son of Sam wants to be public now, leaving a note stating, "Come and get me, Son of Sam." After the note, there was a whole task force assembled just for him, called Operation Omega, having 75 detectives and 225 uniformed officers. 2 months later, after the task force had started, there wasn't any sightings of him, until the Son of Sam shot Judy Palacido in the neck, temple, and shoulder. He shot Salvatore Lupe, who survived. A month later, Stacy Moskowitz and Robert Violante were shot. Stacy died and Robert was blinded. The son of Sam mistakenly parked next to a fire hydrant, getting ready for his next kill, and received a ticket. With the ticket, the cops were able to track down David and arrest him. He underwent many tests, and the judge ruled him insane. And right before he was sentenced, he entered the courtroom chanting and yelling, "Stacy is a whore, Stacy is a whore, I'll shoot them all." He pleaded guilty to all the murders, and in his confession, he mentions that he was listening to the neighbor's dog that was possessed by a demon was telling him to do all the killings. He was sentenced to 365 years in prison and is still living multiple life sentences to this day.